Every single year, corporate organizations pour thousands of dollars per employee into professional development and upskilling programs. However, these programs generally produce certificates of attendance, documenting presence rather than proficiency. Multinational organizations, regulatory bodies, and global clients increasingly reject these documents. Sitting in a room for a mandated number of hours does not equate to a quantifiable, globally verifiable skill set. To solve this, organizations must shift away from localized training certificates and move toward personnel credentialing, governed by strict international conformity standards. The specific standard that regulates this globally is ISO/IEC 17024. The core mandate of the standard is structural impartiality. The training organization must be strictly separated from the independent body evaluating the candidate's competency. Think Plus Academy, or TPA, utilizes this framework to address the disconnect between training delivery and verified competency. TPA is officially authorized to deliver preparatory curricula. Their syllabi, materials, and trainers meet the precise quality criteria mandated by a certifying registrar, the American Quality Standards Registrars, or AQSR. We are going to look at exactly how TPA translates raw, uncodified industry experience into a verified third-party credential. To do this, we will track a specific use case, the pathway to becoming an ESG Decarbonization Manager. In a global market where multinational clients demand evidence of capability, self-reported experience often fails to meet audit requirements. Only structurally verified, third-party assessed competence provides a portable standard. This chart shows the TPA assessment matrix. It details the operational reality of translating an individual's past engineering experience into formal ESG competency. We begin by defining the candidate's starting profile. In this case, it is a professional with a background in engineering or plant operations. The target destination for this candidate is a role as a technical ESG compliance lead or decarbonization manager. This transition delivers a very specific core value to an employer: the ability to translate plant energy, emissions, and waste metrics directly into verifiable Scope 1 and 2 reporting. An engineer handles complex raw data, but typically lacks the formal reporting structures required for international ESG compliance. To bridge this gap, the TPA rules engine initiates Step 1, Baseline Continuous Professional Development, or CPD, mapping. This process maps the candidate's existing CV directly against a formalized CPD system. The system algorithmically searches the profile for specific indicators, like experience in the green, blue, or orange economy, or leadership in environmental, safety, and health initiatives. Past operational activities and previous trainings act as vital baseline evidence. This initial mapping ensures the candidate possesses the minimum experiential foundation required to proceed to formal assessment. True competency mapping does not build skills from a blank slate. It extracts the operational value the candidate has generated throughout their career. Once the baseline is established, we move to the critical evaluation phase, Step 2. The raw CPD evidence gathered is now rigorously scored against specific ISO 17024 criteria. This is where structural impartiality takes effect. While TPA facilitates the training and baseline mapping, the assessment scheme evaluating this evidence is entirely independent. The candidate's path is dictated by a strict mathematical threshold, the 60% mark. If the mapped evidence yields a score of 60% or higher, the candidate advances down the success branch. Passing this threshold generates an endorsed report from trainers, supervisors, or peers, qualifying the candidate for specialized global certification. If the mapped score falls below 60%, the candidate is routed to the fail-safe branch. These candidates are not rejected. Instead, they are actively directed into structured prerequisite technical modules designed to close their specific competency gaps. A certification system is only as strong as its fail states. This math-driven threshold guarantees that verified competence advances, protecting the credential's international weight. Achieving the ISO endorsement is a significant milestone, but it acts as a gateway to broader recognition. In Step 3, the candidate's verified scores are mapped against the frameworks of the Global Academy of Finance and Management, or GAFM. Aligning technical scores with global financial frameworks signals operational value to multinational clients and employers. This leads to the final tier of the progression framework, Step 4, At this stage, the candidate must extend their experiential learning and document a formal, extensive portfolio based on their applied skills. Upon successful completion and review of this portfolio, the candidate qualifies for an executive master's degree in applied sustainable practice. This final step successfully bridges the gap between hands-on technical plant operations and recognized executive academia. The TPA matrix operates as a professional translation engine, converting raw blue-collar engineering data into verified white-collar academic and international credentials. The candidate has now navigated a multi-tiered bureaucracy of CPD mapping, strict ISO scoring, and global GAF alignment. But there is one final critical vulnerability. If an employer cannot instantly verify the authenticity of a credential, they cannot trust it. Every credential issued by TPA relies on their specific ISO 17024-2012 accreditation, certificate number 16505. To protect this standard from forgery in the real world, TPA utilizes a technological defense mechanism called the Certiv.id digital credentialing platform. Through this platform, every single TPA certificate is registered and secured on a blockchain network. The practical user experience of this is simple. Whether physical or digital, every certificate features a unique scannable QR code. When a hiring manager, auditor, or client interacts with this code, the digital system bypasses manual verification entirely. The scan instantly reveals unforgeable, cryptographic proof of the credential's authenticity, its current validity, and the exact scope of the assessment. This combination of rigorous ISO standards on the back end and blockchain speed on the front end addresses the ambiguity found in traditional corporate learning. Processional progression relies on a verifiable record, where every skill is methodically mapped, assessed by an independent third party, and secured through cryptographic validation.